Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and I'm super excited for you all to listen to this one. A very special episode with close friend and long-term training partner, Minil Patel. Minil's story is interesting because while he's been training hard for 10 years, he's never truly peeled back the layers to see what was underneath. This year, he decided to flip the switch and get absolutely shredded. What's unique about his story is that he's done this completely vegan and while working erratic shifts as a doctor, which is why we've coined him the vegan doctor in this episode today. During the podcast, we dive deep into veganism, his ethical reasons behind turning vegan 2 years ago, how he made the transition, as well as dispelling many of the myths that surround veganism and making progress in your physique. We also go into how this transformation process has reshaped Minil and why the impact it's had was only possible because he spent a decade building such a strong foundation. No matter where you are in your journey, this is one not to be missed. Let's dive in. So how's it been since the shoot?
Interesting, I would say. I just wanted to eat everything in sight, obviously. But it's been a bit crazy as well, obviously, because of as soon as the photos went up. So as soon as the photos went up, and then all the messages and stuff like that, it's just been a bit crazy.
Yeah. So you mentioned you wanted to eat everything in sight, but today you came in 2 weeks after the shoot. You said you're actually lighter than shoot day.
Yeah.
So you've not exactly derailed yourself.
No, I think
what's happened.
So I think so. It was the day of the shoot. You said have your meals, and I think I would have said I kind of derailed myself on the day of the shoot. I had I had some big cheat meals. And then Monday as well was another day where I ate quite a bit. And then I looked, and what I did was I read the all your articles on consolidation phase and things like that, the podcast that you had with the people as well. And I was like, okay, I need to be careful here. Especially, I saw that picture of you back. Do you remember 2 years ago when you did the shoot?
5 years ago.
5 years. Oh my god, 2014 wasn't it?
Yeah,
your competition where you derailed. So I was like, okay, I need to monitor my weight, monitor my look, and just get back on it. So obviously, I stuck to the calories you told me, and then maintained the activity levels as well. I was walking everywhere. And just my weight has now kind of stayed the same since the shoot. I look similar to the shoot as well.
What do you? So obviously, it's still early days, but what measures are you going to continue over the next couple of weeks that will help keep you on track that have worked well so far?
So I think weighing myself. At the moment, I'm doing it daily, just because I'm a bit neurotic like that. But mainly it's the sticking to the macros. And obviously I've used MyFitnessPal for so long. For me, I've always liked logging food on there. Once I've logged it on there, that's it. I'm not going to eat outside of it. And if I do, I have to log it. So I have to stay truthful to myself, and I can see the calories there. So sometimes I'll put something in, I go, oh no, I can't have this. And that way it keeps me in check. So I'm always keeping myself in check like that. Obviously as well, how I look in the mirror, things like that. So I'm always judging by that. And as long as I steadily gain the weight, as we discussed before, I think that will keep me in check as well.
Yeah, I think daily body weight tracking is a huge accountability measure because you can't cheat that,
especially in the early days.
Yeah, especially at the beginning, you just can't cheat that.
No, unless the scale's playing up.
Yeah, so you're blaming the scales at the moment, holding you down.
Yeah, but I think it's probably the step count being at 15,000. Last week it was average of 18,000, so his activity level's been very high.
Yeah.
So obviously that's why I think the weight's probably dropped a bit, because I'm still eating in a deficit technically, aren't I? So, but now obviously we'll slowly increase the calories and see what happens.
How are you managing eating out? Is it the same sort of thing where you're planning ahead of time, or are you just being extra careful?
So that's the thing. I haven't really. So obviously people have seen my posts on the Instagram, but when I do eat out, it's been relatively healthy. Those burgers I had was the day after the shoot, which I planned anyway, and I was going to take a day off there from counting. But then since then, when I have eaten out, it's been healthy foods like salad bowls, whole food like grains and all this stuff. So I kind of count that in it, and I kind of estimate how many calories that would be, and that way I keep it down a bit. But since then, I've just kind of prepped all my meals anyway. I've not been eating out much.
Yeah. Let's answer the question that everyone's got on their mind right now, and let's get into the veganism. I mean, you're sitting in front of me now with a Vegan Gains t-shirt, and I think every time I see you, I've seen you in the last 2 years, you've had some sort of vegan t-shirt. the ultimate activist here.
Silent activism.
But it wasn't always like that. So let's go back into and start with why you turned vegan and what you were doing before. Yeah. Because before we'd go out for a steak and nail it, right?
Yeah.
You were a massive steak fan.
Off the bone, mate.
But you've gone from that to telling everyone you're a vegan. Yeah, you're that annoying vegan.
Yeah, I'm that annoying vegan, man.
But what changed? What changed for you specifically?
So it was, it was little bits of slow things. So like during uni, obviously, we were having steak and nuts for breakfast. You know, we were following what people like Charles Poliquin and things like that. Just to get the choline in. We were having steak and nuts for breakfast. But then I think being around and speaking to vegans and vegetarians, I've always been an animal lover anyway. Like that's anyone that knows me personally will know that I love animals. And I always have, but then I was always at odds with the fact that I ate meat, and it didn't make any sense. And I always called myself a hypocrite. And I still remember a couple of years ago when the lads went greyhound racing. Obviously, you guys will never do that now, but you guys went because no one really knew about it. And I didn't go. And I remember you saying to me, "Oh, is it ethics?" And I said, "Yeah." And I think someone piped up and said, "But you eat meat." So that kind of triggered it at the start. And then after that, I started talking to vegan people saying, how do you get protein? Like I had that question as well, because obviously we're training and we care about the protein. And then obviously I met a vegan girl who wasn't pushy about her veganism. She was quite smart. She took me to an animal sanctuary, and that's where I made the connection. I saw these animals living peacefully. They were rescued from the slaughterhouse and things like that. So making that connection between the animal and what was then on my plate triggered it more. And then eventually she sent me a lecture by some American activist, Gary Yourofsky, on YouTube. And I just watched that, and overnight I went vegan. Just
really?
Yeah. Overnight. Because literally I watched it, and she told me, she's quite clever, she said, just listen to it with an open mind. Don't use your emotions, just use your logic, just see what he's saying. He's going to show some slaughter, like animal slaughter, 15 minutes in. Don't watch that. I don't want you to change your mind based on emotion. I want you to use your rational kind of mind to understand why it's the right thing to do. And I said, all right. But then I watched the slaughter, and I had to pause the video because I could not take it. It was a lot to take emotionally, especially for someone who loves animals. And I was like, I can't be part of this anymore. And that's when overnight I flipped it and I said, that's it. I told my dad, eat the rest of this chicken. I'm not having it. In the house, I didn't eat it. I finished off my whey protein because I had bought it and I didn't want to waste it. No one else was going to have it in the house. So I finished that off. And then after that, I've just tried to always, So
you never had a last steak?
No, it never happened. It never occurred.
What was your last steak?
I couldn't even tell you, man. That's crazy. I couldn't even tell you what my last steak was. I couldn't tell you what my last chicken, or maybe my chicken was already at home. I didn't even get to try my mom's curry for one last time, nothing like that. But since then, I no longer see that stuff as food. I have so many options now that I've recreated, like my mom's chicken curry. I've tried veggie steaks. Obviously, they're not the same, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was very much ethical. It was planted through your love for animals, and then you were exposed to different ethical reasons.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, a girl told you to change it.
Yeah. Ultimately, I did it for a girl, of course. Yeah, she was so amazing. I did it for her. No, she was amazing, but it wasn't just her that made me do it.
I'm only putting her leg. I know you get very emotional about that.
Yeah, most people. I remember when it first happened, the easiest way to wind you up was to tell you did it for a girl. Yeah. And it did wind me up. I'm very easily wound up, as people know. So yeah, but I can laugh back at it now because obviously, you're not going to change your mind and then stick to it. Even now, it's been 2 years, and then. So
what are the ethical reasons here that really drive you into staying strong? We were talking just before air about how in social situations many people are vegan when it suits them, but they're not vegan in social situations or when it becomes difficult. Yeah. But from what I know, you're a true vegan through and through.
Devout.
Yeah, devout.
I try. Yeah.
You've got to have that real connection to the ethical background because especially because you've come from a meat. Meat is so easy to fall back into bad 100%. Habits or what you consider bad habits.
Yeah.
So what are your ethical reasons for doing this?
So I think when people go vegan for health, they tend to go back on it because if it's for your own, I won't call it selfish, but personal reasons, you tend to kind of go back on it. It's like a diet. If you treat it like a diet, you might cheat on your diet. But if you see it as a moral kind of code and a way of living, which is what most vegans, most practicing vegans see it as, they'll exclude it from everything they can. So like clothing, shoes, everything. So everything you purchase, you're going to make sure it's vegan products and this and that. So like a lot of the t-shirts I get now, well, most, they're from ethical companies and things like that. But like you said, what drives me is the fact that I've seen the footage of how animals are treated. People say it's not all farms. Okay, but you don't know. You don't know until, and also I just think it's now point blank wrong to do what we do to these animals. And that's, I think, the difference between me and, as in like
a trendy vegan.
No. Okay, just me and any meat eater. A meat eater thinks it's okay to kill an animal for food for whatever reasons they can give. I just think point blank it's not okay to kill them. It's unnecessary. And I think we just don't need it anymore in this day and age. Like, I understand survival situations. People always say this, what if you were on a desert island? Would you? Yeah. But like for me, it's the point blank. I don't want to be contributing to that. So that animal slaughter, I find wrong. Then since then, I've researched more. So like the environmental reasons have come into it. Beef and lamb production is just so high in terms of CO2 productions, methane, looking at water usage, pollution. So there's always those environmental reasons. The Amazon's on fire literally because cattle are ranching. So that's one thing. And then health became a thing as well. So I started looking at the health benefits of a vegan diet because I thought, for optimal health, humans need a bit of meat every now and then. Our ancestors ate meat every now and then. But the more I looked into it, the vegan diet, if done properly, can be actually very good for your health, if done properly. Any diet can be bad for your health if not done properly. So it doesn't matter if you're vegan or not. You can be an unhealthy junk food vegan. But if you're eating a whole food, it doesn't mean if you go vegan, you're going to be ultimately healthy. It means, if you do it properly, eat your greens, eat your veggies, eat your fruits, nuts, all that stuff. Yeah. So, right.
Is it the fact that animals are getting killed, or is it the way they're getting killed? You're coming here about the hunter-gatherer sort of argument.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, like, if you live in a tribe, and if you're in a tribe like in South America or something like that, then I understand that for survival, you may need to have some meat every now and then. If you're a Maasai, if you're living in savannah, you may need to have some meat every now and then. But the way we consume it now is just crazy. You know how many animals are killed every year for food? A little fact for you. I think 56 billion land animals are killed every year for food. Wow. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and I think almost half are like starving or undernourished in some way. It's just crazy. We don't need to. Like, the amount of chickens we kill a year for, when someone goes get 20 bucket of wings, that's 10 birds. You don't think about these things. So I think that just, just the whole idea of raising them for how they're raised, factory farming is just crazy. It's just insane. And then killing them in general, like firstly, I couldn't kill an animal. So because I can't kill an animal for food, unless I was in a survival situation, and even then I'd probably be like, no, unless obviously it came to it. I can't justify it from that point of view.
What about, let's think a bit more into the environment, because that's something which is getting more and more press. You hear of, just yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was reading about Arnold talking about him adopting more vegan practices simply because of the environment. He's a big environment activist.
Yeah, Arnold's quite smart, man.
And that's Arnold, who's the ultimate bodybuilding pioneer. Yeah. And, you'd eat steak all day long. Yeah. But now he's cutting his consumption back for environmental reasons. What are the environmental implications? You mentioned a few.
Yeah, I think Arnold's actually gone plant-based. I don't know fully if he has, but he's got that new movie coming out as well, Game Changers. Yeah,
I think what he's doing is doing more plant-based, maybe meat every now and then. I feel like that's a good way to go.
I think that's a way to go for most people, because people, ultimately, you can't change everyone. You can't make everyone go vegan. That's the ultimate goal for us vegans, if everyone does it. But I understand what you mean. It's not realistic, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic. Yeah. And I know you mentioned the health thing, but I do feel that some... I know we probably debate on this all day, but I feel like a majority vegan diet with some meat and fish could be the way to go.
Yeah, see, I had this same debate with a nutritionist from King's 2 years ago, literally, about what about some every now and then. He goes, well, you just don't need it. You just don't, because you can get it from plants anyway. And, all the food that we have today is fortified with it. People might say that's not natural, but what about what we do today is natural? A lot of it isn't, right? But so let's say fish, for example, people think fish are a healthy food, but they do, we put so much pollutants into the sea, even if you get wild caught fish, and we're eating fish that are higher up the food chain, they're accumulating certain toxins in their tissues. And that's, you can look that up on any study. They are. Now, are these going to be harmful to humans? Some studies say small, teeny tiny amounts that are in the fish, maybe not, because you're having it every now and then. But if you're eating fish all the time, then it can be harmful. Now, if you avoid it altogether, then you avoid the harm altogether. And you can get omega-3s from algae, which is right at the bottom of the food chain. So they don't even need time to accumulate the toxins. So that's what most vegans get their EPA and DHA from algae oil, which you can get online. It's not even that expensive. And then the other omega-3s and 6s you get from flaxseed and chia seeds and all this other stuff. So again, if it's not necessary, then you don't really need it for optimal health.
Do you want to just dive into the environmental side of things again?
Yeah. So what we're saying about animal agriculture being responsible for so many greenhouse emissions. Can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's a significant amount. I think it's more than the entire. Kind of usage of cars and things like that. So vehicles and things like that. The greenhouse emissions from animal agriculture is much higher. So that's one. Then you've got the greenhouse emissions from just so that's from cows producing the methane and things like that. But also CO2 emissions to kind of provide the energy for them to sustain them. Then also the amount of deforestation you're doing, so you can ranch these cattle and give them grazing ground. Then you're looking at the water. The amount of water needed to make a pint of milk is insane. I mean, the BBC released the article on it, and Independent, everyone has, of the amount of water that you need just for 1 pint of milk is gallons. Like it's just silly when you can put hardly anything into making some oat milk. So that's one. So water usage, and then water pollution. So these animals have to, they produce pee and poo. It has to go somewhere, and that normally finds its way into the water supply. So you're looking at water pollution. You're looking at plastic. So people go on about plastic straws. The majority of the plastic in the oceans is from fish nets, and this is deserted fish nets. And you're looking at hundreds of turtles and other marine animals being killed every year by these discarded fishing nets. So plastic pollution, that's another one, environmental reason to go, again, stop fishing and all that.
There's plenty.
Yeah, it's plenty, man. I could go on, man. It's crazy.
I mean, it's funny. I told you this about a year ago, but I've cut down a lot on my meat consumption.
Yeah, I know you have.
I used to eat meat 5 times a day.
Yeah,
I remember back in university, I used to order a kilo of meat, go through that the whole day.
Me and you both, brother. We both
did the kilo of meat a day.
Athlete and muscle food and Kezi foods.
All that stuff. We were eating meat coming out everywhere. But about 18 months ago, or maybe 18 months ago, I cut down on my meat consumption quite a bit. And now I only eat meat once a day. So dinner time.
It'll be chicken or fish.
Chicken, fish, or what? It doesn't really matter. Most days it's chicken. Yeah. But it'll be whatever it is that evening meal.
Yeah.
So my consumption of it has come down a lot. And you know what? It does. It is some of the stuff that you mentioned there, the ethical, but also the environmental reasons and implications for it. And also the fact that I just thought that it can't be good for you to eat that much meat.
No.
Like, I feel like there's got to be a good balance here, but to have meat in your system 5 times a day can't be good for your digestive tract. Like, no, too much of any food can't be good, but that much of how much demand is on breaking down that food.
Do you remember digestive enzymes? Did you ever buy them?
Yeah, I did.
Why were we buying digestive enzymes to digest big steak meals?
Yeah,
that was when we a couple people, we did it before. Remember?
Yeah,
a couple digestive enzymes just to digest the steak we were eating. Like,
it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't, and it just sits in your colon anyway. Now I'm not gonna go into the health risks. Well, unless you want me to, but. Processed red meat, definitely a big no-no, like salami, pastrami, pepperoni,
processed red meat, you just...
Like that, everyone should just point blank avoid. Yeah, if you don't smoke, you shouldn't be eating those either, But then...
What's going on with processed red meats? That's the issue.
They say they put it as a type 1A carcinogen, so in the same bracket as smoking, because it definitely causes cancer, but it doesn't cause it to the point where, smoking is definitely a high risk for for lung cancer. Processed red meat can cause cancer does cause cancer, rather. It's a high risk, but not as high risk as smoking for your gastric cancers and colon cancers. Like, that's just there. And the articles are there, the papers are there. The World Health Organization released these statements. So it's not like I'm pulling out some vegan website, some hippie saying it. it's actually the World Health Organization, and if you take them seriously, you would take this what they tell you seriously. And then red meat, so like beef, lamb, stuff like that, pork, are classes 2A, I think. So they probably cause cancer, but very much linked.
That's only correlation, though.
I don't think it's about correlation. I think they are linked to colon cancer, and I think it was so the first person to tell me about that was an Egyptian colorectal surgeon when I was on placement back in uni. I was in final year of uni, and he asked me what I had for breakfast. This is when we were doing the steak and nuts breakfast, and I said, I have steak for breakfast. Because he asked me about gym and stuff like that, and he said, steak, why? And I said, just protein. And he goes, he doesn't eat. He had given up red meat. This is an Egyptian guy, So they eat lamb. They'd given up red meat because of the findings at the time. And obviously he's very involved in colorectal kind of research and things like that. And he said, it is a direct, there is a link to colon cancer. How the process by which it is, the mechanism, I'm not completely sure. But if you just think about it, it has to sit there for a while before it's digested, causing inflammation, causing all sorts of issues.
Yeah, I only eat red meat every couple of weeks, very rarely. But
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it's fine, but I mean, you want to eat it.
Yeah.
I would say, I can't stop you, but
you're thinking more ethically. Though,
ethically, I'm like, it's not fine, but compared to having it every day how we used to, so
there's points where I was having it 5 times a day.
Yeah, man. Mate,
no wonder I used to have digestive issues.
Mate, we both used to. Remember, we used to talk about that.
We used to only talk about digestive problems, and it's probably a reason now. Looking back, we eat so much damn meat.
It took us out of the gym sometimes. Remember? He's got he's off. He's not coming today. He's not training today.
So all right. So you've gone from a steak eating madman to a vegan. What are you eating nowadays then? Can you walk us through a day in the life? Because this is another question that pretty much everyone asks. The classic question: what is your protein source? But let's just go through your diet. Let's say at the beginning of this transformation, when you had a bit more food in you.
So is this before we started it?
No, let's just say now. What are you eating now? Okay. 1,800 calories. You told me you're on 1,800 now.
17 to 1,800. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing for your food?
So breakfast. Obviously, I'll wake up early and I'll go to the gym to either go do my cardio and abs, or I'll do the training session. But I do that fasted because I've just got so used to it.
Yeah. Same.
But then I'll come back and have my breakfast, which will be quite high in carbs. So it will be a big bowl of oats with oat milk, cacao powder, which is just for antioxidants, and then flaxseed, sometimes chia seeds with berries or some fruit just chucked in there. And I kind of measure it out to make sure I'm not going crazy with how much I'm eating.
The fats and carbs,
Yeah, exactly. A bit of peanut butter as well if I want, or almond butter. So all this stuff is good. And then just because I want to get the convenience of having some more protein a day, I'll have a protein shake.
Yeah. And
that'll be either soy isolate or it'll be from pea or rice. Based kind of thing, so it's complete protein.
Sure.
And that's because I've done it for years. Even when I used to have I used to have whey all the time, right? I have whey 3 times a day.
Just the bodybuilder mindset.
Yeah, I need protein, kind of thing. So I used to have whey 3 times a day, but now I've cut it to having a protein shake maybe once or twice a day. I don't even need it twice a day anymore, which is crazy.
Okay, so you got oats. Let's just make it easy. Oats, protein powder, some seeds and berries.
Seeds, berries, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then a few hours later, it'll be lunchtime. So I'll make it'll be a lentil-based pasta, which is quite high in protein. I've been going on about those as well. With veggies again, like spinach, broccoli, kale, whatever. And then if I want to so the protein-based pasta has a lot of protein in it anyway, so that's fine. If I want to make it carby, I'll add some potatoes on the side or rice or something, or I'll just have normal pasta. And instead of having the lentil-based pasta, I'll have normal pasta, but with kind of vegan protein source like tofu or seitan, which is wheat gluten. So if you're celiac, you can't have it. But for most people, it's okay. Beans again, something like that. I try and vary it a lot, and people talk about protein combining as well. But you get that protein from the green vegetables, you get it from the beans, you get it from the grains, you get it from the pasta. So that meal will be like that. There'll be a carb, there'll be a bean or a lentil, and there'll be your veggies basically. Yeah. So keep it simple: veggies, beans, and lentils, and a carb like a rice or a pasta.
Then.
So meal 3 will be similar to meal 2, because if I'm aiming for higher carbs in the day, it'll be similar to meal 2, but just a variation of it. Or I could have a wrap, so the carb is coming from the kind of wrap, which is wheat, and I'll fill it with maybe if I'm going to have a bit more carbs, a bit rice. If not, then it'll be just veggies again, beans, and then you can get, again, another mock meat thing. But I try not to eat the mock meat stuff too much. I used to when I started out because I didn't know any better. It was like, oh, I have to replace the meat with the mock meat. But that stuff, it's not heavily processed, but compared to whole foods like, beans, lentils, legumes, peas, all that stuff, it is chickpeas. It is. So I try and keep it to those. And to be honest, the wrap I get is high in protein as well. So then again, I've hit the target.
What are they doing to make it high protein?
They just make it out of like grain, like the flour they use is like grain flour, rather than having like just, your standard white base kind of thing. It's like teff flour, semolina, whole wheat stuff.
And you're just doing 3 meals a day?
At the moment, it's 3, and they're 3 big meals-ish. But I might have a snack today just to get it up.
What would that be?
So the snack would be, I could have nut butter with rice cakes and a protein shake. Something like that. Just a snack in it. Basic snack.
So a couple follow-up questions. What's the 3? So first is about fiber, second is about soy, and third is about mock meats. I want to cover all 3. Firstly, what's the deal with fiber? Have you suddenly find yourself eating a load more fiber? Because you mentioned beans, lentils, oats, they're all ton of it. So
I'm having
what are you doing to manage that?
As in nothing, man. I'm having like 50 grams of fiber a day.
Yeah.
The recommended, they say that every adult should get is like 38. That's only because they set it at low so people try hit it.
Okay.
I think the average American or the average UK person gets like 18 grams of fiber a day. So the average American diet or the average UK diet is a bit similar now, isn't it? You're getting like 18 grams of fiber a day and you're wondering why everyone's got, constipation and hemorrhoids and stuff like that. I'm only going once every other day. But I'm getting like 50 grams and I think my body's now normalized to it and used to it. So
I remember at the beginning you were like, mate, I'm on the toilet all the time.
I was more, not, I was going like maybe 3-4 times a day. And I was bloated and stuff like that. But that was right at the start of going vegan 2 years ago. And then the body's kind of normalized and you need fiber anyway because it's your gut bacteria that feeds on the fiber.
Yeah.
So you've got people taking Actimel and probiotic and all this stuff. When if you feed the body fiber, you're feeding your gut bacteria. You're feeding your gut flora, and they're going to thrive on it. And it's going to improve your digestion. It's going to improve your stools, prevent you from getting hemorrhoids, prevent you from getting problems down the line. And obviously, just drink plenty of water as well.
Yeah. So a lot of people, you mentioned people you were bloated at the beginning. A lot of people mention that they go vegan or they go more vegetarian or whatever it is, and they get bloated more often. What is the reason? Is it simply just body hasn't adjusted to the fiber?
Yeah, it's the body hasn't. I personally think, and from what I've just read, it's like the body hasn't adjusted, and then once you go through that adjustment period, you should be okay. Obviously, I think everyone's an individual, so it's hard to can generalize, but everyone's an individual, and some diets just simply don't work with people, and you have to find what works for you. So it's maybe that you're having too much of something that is causing you to bloat, and if you eliminate that one thing, because that's causing you to bloat, you might get better. But it's trial and error, isn't it? Like I've been trialing and erroring things for 2 years until I found like what works for me now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Secondly, soy. What's the deal with soy? You hear the good things, you hear the bad things. I personally don't think it's that bad.
No, it's not.
I think it was completely overblown. You hear the whole like you eat soy, you're gonna get man boobs. Not gonna lie, for 5-10 years I probably believed that. If you eat soy, you're gonna get man boobs.
So did I, man.
But I don't think it makes any sense.
I remember when I used to buy like
estrogen connection. Right?
When I used to buy like protein bars, sometimes I read the pack and it says soy. I'm like, oh no, I can't have this.
I mean, even at the point probably when it said soy, lecithin in the pack, which is just the binding product. And we see that in that. Nah. You lose all your testosterone,
mate. Obviously.
So what's the deal with soy? Why is it being overblown into danger? And what is the reality about it?
So soy contains something called phytoestrogens, which are like plant-based estrogens, which they've been shown to bind to certain estrogen receptors in the body, but they don't bind to the ones that will cause the problems of like gynecomastia, man boobs, and things like that. So it's complete. Like the research has shown, you can eat a soy-based diet and be completely fine. Most of these bodybuilders, vegan bodybuilders, they eat soy and they're fine. To get the negative effects, like the phytic, they say like the anti-nutrient effects of it, you have to eat a lot of soy. So I'd have to be having like that soy isolate powder about 10 times a day to get any negative effects of soy. So too much of one thing being bad for you, that's what it is. Too much soy can be bad, but you're not going to get that much. Even if you have like 4 meals a day, which are tofu or soybean based, just look at Asia. They've been eating soy for years.
Do you think it matters between fermented soy and non-fermented soy? Because the whole Asia argument is that they eat a lot of fermented soy. That's supposed to be... Well, that has a lot of health benefits.
Yeah.
Is that the argument there?
I think fermented soy is just better for your gut, like tempeh. I think it is.
Tempeh, miso, certain types of tofu.
Yeah, they're better for you.
Yeah,
they're better for you. But if you're eating the normal stuff,
it's not gonna.
There's not been any evidence to show it's gonna do anything negative. And thus far, like I've been really literally trying to find issues with like, oh, is it gonna affect my libido? Is it gonna affect this, my testosterone levels? But like, I was having all the time, and my lifts were going up in the gym, and I was like, well, it's not happening, is it? And obviously, I got lean and didn't develop man boobs, so.
And following on from the soy, so the soy thing, it's been debunked in my eyes. But I just wanted you to say it as well. That follows on nicely to the next one, which I know you struggle with at the beginning, is the mock meat thing. Like, what is are there any problems with it? I mean, for me, it can't be good eating that much mock meat.
If you're having it all the time, then how
are you balancing it?
It also depends on the brands as well. So some of the brands are quite basic in their ingredients list, and it's lucky they put it on the back. So read the ingredients list. Some of them are literally made of everything you find in normal food anyway. So I showed a doctor at work one of the ingredients lists for one of the Fibre products, and he's like, "Oh, that stuff's pretty much like, these are single ingredients just bunched together. It's not that bad." So I reckon that once in a while is all right. But then you're looking at something like the new burgers that are coming out now, like the Beyond Burger, let's say. Let's put that one out there, where people are eating it all the time. It tastes amazing. Yeah, you've had it. Remember, you had it Honest Burgers with me, innit? It tastes amazing, but if you eat that burger all the time, every day, the amount of fats in it is crazy high. It's 20 grams per patty. So obviously, you're going to gain weight from it. And then also, I think it does have preservatives in it, but not as bad. I think that one's not as bad as the other one they're developing, the Impossible Burger. That's got...
Oh, yeah, I've had that in America.
Yeah, in America. Yeah. So that one's not even vegan because they had to test it on rats to make it. But I see why vegans eat it, because it's at least a plant-based product. We'll get into the difference between vegan and plant-based as well if you want. But having it every day, I don't think it's good for you, mock meats. But it depends, again, on the mock meat you're eating. Some are literally just soy-based, which are fine. But some are like heavily processed.
So what are some good brands?
Oomph is a good one. Vivera is a good one. Linda McCartney's not bad either. They've got a good range. It's just like rehydrated soy, textured soy.
Yeah.
And I think all these supermarkets, they're doing their own. You just need to be mindful and read the ingredients list. And if you're worried about something on there, just Google it. I mean, obviously it's going to throw up crazy things, but there's some things that are worse than others. So like certain chemicals that you might not want to ingest, they're on there. But that's why I try not to eat them too much, but every now and then I will have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the long-term implications? I guess, is it too new an industry to know?
I think it's too early to know for sure, like the long-term implications of it. But
what about the long-term implications of being vegan?
So those studies have been around for years.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's like in America they study people that literally adopt a plant-based diet for their religion, and they looked at the health benefits of them. So like all cause deaths of like from cardiovascular disease and other things like are much lower in these people. So it's been shown to help with your cardiovascular health. I think as long as there's nothing wrong with doing it if you do it properly. So there's not been any studies to show that it's worse. Most of the studies that have shown that a vegetarian and vegan diet is better than an omnivorous diet for a lot of things, especially cardiovascular health, cancer risk as well. They're lower in both of those across the board, across the countries. And if you look at most Asian countries, before they've started adopting a Western type diet, they were healthier and they were usually eating more plants like lentils, legumes, soybeans. They were eating more plant-based, but now people are starting to eat like Americans because that's what they think, affluent culture, affluent society, you're trying to eat like an American. Burgers, cheese, a lot more animal protein. That's what's causing the issues. So like you said, it's about balance as well. But long term, I think it's
fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Before we switch gears away from the vegan story, why don't we cover some of the vegan questions we've had from the listeners? We've covered the things on protein and what vegan proteins, etc. But there were some interesting ones here that I thought we might be worth talking about. And the first one is, how do you go about ensuring optimal leucine content per day per meal? And this is from our RNT coach Ben.
Yeah. Leucine, man. Do you remember we used to buy unflavored BCAs and unflavored Leucine?
I do remember.
I remember Shah was mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Thank you, Akash, for that. So BCAs are bad enough on its own. Like, but Leucine, I used to drink Leucine with meals when I was really neurotic about my training.
This is when you were eating meat as well.
This is when I was eating meat as well.
I was the same.
I was definitely getting enough Leucine, but I was just like, well, yeah, Dr. Lane Norton said this. I have to try it. But yeah, so Leucine is a very important, I'm going to bore everyone with the details, but an important amino acid in protein.
Just so people know, it helps signal muscle protein synthesis, which is essentially building blocks of protein. And it's one of the most important amino acids for signaling the anabolic process. But because of that, it's been individualized as the godsend ingredient. And it's typically lower in vegan sources of protein, potentially. And because it's so very marginal, it's been blown out of proportion. Like you have to add leucine to everything. And I've been guilty of advising that in the past to vegan clients. A couple of years ago, I'd say you have to have EAAs and leucine added to every single meal. What are your thoughts?
Well, some of the research shows that you need the other EAAs anyway. You can't just have the leucine. So if you're worrying about just leucine, you're kind of missing the point. You need all the essential amino acids. So
and actually the studies show that you actually need the best way to have it is have all the EAAs and all the non-essential EAAs. So whey protein, they don't in the studies. Whey protein will beat EAAs in terms of spiking and sustaining protein synthesis. And then EAAs will beat individual. So you really need that spectrum.
Which is why soy is good, because soy is a complete protein as well. It's like it's just under whey in terms of.
So is leucine a worry for you?
So I've never really worried about it because I go by. We keep it simple, right? We go by: are my lifts getting better in the gym? Am I getting stronger in the gym? I was until obviously we did this transformation. So am I getting stronger in the gym? Are my lifts going up? Am I getting enough protein in a day? So the guidelines from the American Sports Association, all these people, they say that if you're getting enough protein in a day for athletes, which is let's say 20 to 40 grams per meal of protein a day, depending on your body weight, you should hit adequate amounts of leucine. Obviously vegans may struggle, but vegans need to just hit the 40 grams of protein a day. And it's like, so with soy, I'd hit it straight away anyway. But then if I have something like chickpea meal, all that stuff, in that 40 grams of protein, there'll be a few grams of leucine in there anyway. And I probably only need you need about 1 to 3 grams of leucine per meal for optimal MPS, muscle protein synthesis. So if you need just 1 to 3 grams, and I'm kind of a small guy, I don't need it like closer to the gram or closer to 1.52 grams. I'm probably getting that per meal, but I've never really monitored it. I've never really worried about it. Because I care more about, am I making progress in the gym with progressive overload? Am I lifting more weight than I did before? If you can't lift more weight without building muscle. So there's never been a real worry for me. But you can, there's an app, he's asked about an app to monitor this. It's called Chronometer. It's like MyFitnessPal, but it goes into more detail about what amino acids, what nutrients you're getting. And a lot of vegans use it, especially vegan bodybuilders use it. I downloaded it once and I was like, it's too
neurotic.
It's way more complicated than MyFitnessPal. And because I've been using MyFitnessPal since we were like 19, 20, I just stuck to it. And I just didn't use Chronometer. But it's a good app.
Okay. What are the best and worst parts about being vegan?
Best part about being vegan for me personally is that I think now that my kind of actions have aligned.
You get to wear the t-shirts.
Yeah, the t-shirts are obviously, but I love them. But I think my actions are now kind of aligned with my morals. So like I feel better. Like when I eat a meal, like when I had that like kind of Buddha bowl the other day with like salads and all this stuff, I just felt better eating it. I felt cleaner. I felt, it's almost like a spiritual experience.
I was going to say, do you feel spiritual about being vegan?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because you know me, I'm a atheist agnostic. I don't believe in a god, and I'm quite skeptical about a lot of things. I kind of just look at what's around me and kind of take that. And obviously I look at the science. But for me, like whenever I eat like a wholesome meal, like it's from plants, I feel that it's like a spiritual experience because it's like clean and nothing had to knowingly die for it. Like people can talk about how like small animals may have been killed to harvest the food, this and that, but that's like inadvertent. Like I can't starve myself, but at least I'm not eating an animal that I know was raised for the principle of being killed.
Yeah.
So it's that's the best thing
Do
for
you
me.
feel like you've reached a higher level experience of consciousness when you're eating a vegan meal?
I think just the whole...
Or just generally the experience of being vegan?
I think that generally the experience of being vegan, I feel more connected to nature. That's one thing. Like when I look around at animals, when I go to like these sanctuaries or farms, and I look at animals like, the Hare Krishna Mandir, you can go feed the cows there and stuff. You just feel, I don't feel like guilt I used to feel. I used to feel guilt.
You felt guilt?
Oh yeah, when I used to eat animals, I used to feel guilt.
And did you feel guilt all throughout your life, or only when you got exposed in that transition?
Nah, even throughout my life. Yeah. I remember I went to a farm with, I think it was Sonal ages ago. Went to a farm because she knew I liked animals. And over there, I'm looking at the cows. I'm like, oh man, it just felt so bad for them.
You're just looking at them as
I was just looking at, I was looking at them going, I can't believe I eat these guys.
That's what I mean, you eat them.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe I eat these guys. I was sitting there feeding goats, and I'm like, I've definitely had goat meat before. It's horrible. So until you make that connection, I think for me it was easier because I love animals, but not everyone loves animals as well as me. But I think if you can watch animals being slaughtered and not bat an eye, then that's you, and I can't do that. Yeah. Not you, but you know what I mean. People, and worst part about being vegan though, I think it's the way vegans are treated by the general public. Now, people talk about the annoying vegan, the outspoken vegan, the over-emotional vegan, always posting on Facebook and social media. But I'll tell you why, the reason we do it, and there was a good article in the New York Times that I shared recently, written by a meat eater, an omnivore, who wrote this thing called Stop Mocking Vegans. So the reason vegans are so emotional is because of the things we've been exposed to. And people can say what we've been exposed to is propaganda, but it's not. It's there. It's videos, isn't it? It's evidence. It's, people have broken into these slaughterhouses and taken video evidence, made these documentaries for the world to see, because people don't know about these environmental problems or ethical problems that much. It's kept out of sight and out of mind. And vegans have been exposed to it, so they feel a need to kind of almost evangelicalize and spread the word. Like, people spread the word about, let's say, religion, for example. But the difference here is that it's something that's really, really affecting the world, and it's something we were quite passionate about. And I think the mocking from family and friends, obviously, I know from friends it's like just gentle ribbing, and you guys will try vegan food with me, and it's all right. But like literally, like some of the stuff I get sent, and some of the messages some vegans get sent, especially women get treated horribly by people just for being vegan. There's a huge problem, I think, because men kind of get away with it. If you're a vegan man, you get called a softie, you get called a soy boy, things like that, which is, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, man. Don't ask me. But like, and some men even feel like they're not manly if they don't eat meat. It's a real male thing, isn't it? But women, like, they almost get shut down. Like when they try and speak up about it, it's like people go, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just emotional." So that kind of mocking and bullying that happens to vegans everywhere. So
I know some vegans who've been vegan for like over 10 years.
Yeah.
But they don't ever talk about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the best way to do it.
No.
But they just get on with it, and then it's like, I've never had like a debate with them, because I'm just like, all right, cool, you're vegan. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's the one, I think sometimes when a vegan goes on and on about it, it almost, the other person wants to provoke them.
Yeah. So this is covered in that article really well, where those vegans that are quiet about it, one, is maybe because their reasons for being vegan is personal.
Yeah.
They haven't been exposed to the horrors that a lot of us have looked at and gone, oh crap, we need to do something about this. They're not kind of, they kind of get on.
Activists.
They're not activists. So they need to get on with their own life. They don't really want to. They might not even want to see change. They might just be like, yeah, cool, I'll just get on my own thing, I'll mind my own business. Whereas we want to see real change happen in the world, because unless we do something, you've seen what's happening to the environment, you've seen what's happening to the world around us. It's not sustainable, man. And unless you try and make that change, nothing's going to happen. So you need people like to be annoying and speak up. But in the article covers it well as well. Like, because of the mocking and bullying, a lot of vegans feel like the pressure to stay quiet as well. Yeah. So a lot of people I know, they won't make the noise about it. Like, you see these people standing in like city centers with their like black t-shirts on with their videos. You're like, what the hell are these people doing? Like, you feel angry. You want to go eat a steak just to teach them a lesson, kind of thing. And I've seen that people are like, oh, for every meat you don't eat, I'm going to eat steak. Like, that attitude towards vegans is what sometimes makes vegans want to be quiet about it. And at the start, I was going to be like that. I was going to just keep it quiet a little bit. Like, I made a bit of noise on Facebook, and I saw the reaction. People were like not happy. And I was like, oh, what should I do, man? I was like, you know what? I'm just going to own it, because I feel that strongly about what's happening to the animals. They haven't got a voice. They can't speak up for themselves. Yeah, they die kicking and screaming, and they live their lives the way they do, and they can't speak up. So someone has to speak up for them. So the ones that are passionate about animal welfare And even the environmentalists, you've seen like in Central London, all the protests, they will have to speak up and be that annoying vegan that people hate so much. And to be honest, before I cared about it, being that, how will I look to people? Now I'm just like, mate, I have to do this because someone has to.
Yeah. Fair play to you, and very rightly so. If you believe in something, why should you stay quiet about it? So brilliant. Next question, which I think is a really interesting one. Not this one here where it says, did you meet for vegan? But why didn't you go vegetarian? And actually, a better question here from me is why? What is wrong with being vegetarian? Like the middle ground.
Oh man!
Because in many cases, it's actually worse ethically. Is it not?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Like from what I know,
vegetarians are gonna love this bit.
Yeah. From what I know, it's actually worse. So what's going on here?
Ah man, vegetarians. So vegetarians are people that will consume dairy products and eggs, and probably honey as well. Yeah, because vegans don't consume honey. But let's focus on dairy and eggs. So start with dairy. Yeah. I don't know how much you want to know. It's horrible. It's like what they do to these cows. People's vision of dairy, and I had this debate with someone's mum, Mehel's mum, the other day, about she's still got a vision of a dairy cow being milked out by the farmer, with their hands. It's all a nice process. Old MacDonald had a farm, but it's not. It's cows basically lined up on these machines, suction cups applied to their, udders, which are essentially their breasts. Yeah. So, imagine being a human and having these suction cups attached to you. Like women that breastfeed know and breast pump know how painful that can be. Or it can relieve it as well if you're obviously full of milk. But these cows are basically seen as products. Yeah, they are for our consumption. Their milk is for us. But to get a cow to produce milk, the cow has to get pregnant first. It's not going to just produce milk. That's not how it works. Now, to impregnate the cow, you have to forcibly impregnate it. They're not getting a bull to go around impregnating cows. As one bull walks in like, hey ladies, I'm here. Yeah. The farmer's collecting the semen, having it in a syringe, then lining up the cows in these racks that colloquially are called rape racks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, colloquially they're called rape racks. I don't know who coined the term. Was it the farmers or was it angry vegans? But that word exists. And they impregnate the cows. Cows get pregnant. They carry their calves for like, 9 to 10 months or however long it is. As long as a human pregnancy at least. And then they give birth to the calf. And once they give birth to the calf, does the calf stay with the mum? No. Because actually, if you keep the calf with the mum, you've allowed them to bond a bit before you take it away. So they take it away as soon as they can. Yeah? So mum's just lost the baby. Now they'll say, the cow doesn't mind, 2 days later, you won't even know about it. Okay, maybe, but in that initial phase, it's mooing like crazy for its baby. And there's videos of cows literally chasing the farmers, saying, bring my child, because that bond is still there. They say they don't allow enough time for that bond to happen, but sometimes it does. Like, oxytocin, things like that get released when you give birth. That creates a bond between the baby and the mother. So it's a very cool industry already there. Now, if it's a male calf, it's waste. It's a waste product. You don't need it in the dairy industry. Kill it. It's either going to be veal or just kill it in like 2 days' time and just use it for whatever thing you want to, and they do it by just shooting in the back of the head. And they showed that video on Channel 4. I'm surprised people didn't react after that. If it's a female calf, well, lucky her, she's going to go through the same process her mom's gone through for the rest of her life. Now, cows live to 26 years. How long do you think dairy cows live?
10?
Nah, man, like 5-6 years. They're spent because we've used their organs so much. We've got them pregnant year after year. We've used their milk. They're killed after like 6 years for meat. So all these people that, especially, I'm sorry, but Hindus, you guys love milk. We put it in everything. And we call Gaia Mata. Hindus consider cow sacred, or they call it their mother. What's the deal behind that? Yeah. But that's the thing. Back in India, you could hand milk a cow. We'll go into how India treats cows in a second. But in this country, this is not what happens. And the Hare Krishnas have rightly started condemning industrialized milk, and they call it blood milk, because it's literally obtained by every dairy cow is going to be eventually killed. At least industrial dairy cows will be killed well before their time, at the age of 5 or 6 years old, because they're no longer useful. And you can't keep feeding them. It's expensive for the farmers, right? Farmers got to make a business, got to make money. Yeah, and we've done this for years, and we've made it into like a kind of a machine kind of thing, isn't it? It's like a machine. Cows are just there now for us to use for their milk, and we consume obscene amount of milk in the form of milk, cheese, butter, ice cream, yogurt. So you need to produce all that from somewhere. It's coming from somewhere, right? You go to any supermarket, stocks are full of milk. So that's and it's not just yeah, man, it's cruel, and the cycle just repeats itself with female cows over and over again until the end of the day. That's why vegans. That's why I said before I said that if I ever stopped eating meat, I wouldn't go vegetarian. This is long before I even thought about going vegan. I said I would never go vegetarian. I would go full vegan. I would never have that transition because there's absolutely no point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you either are for animal abuse or you are against animal abuse. You can't be like, I'm gonna be vegetarian. People do it because they ignore that part of it, and it's difficult. I understand. I ate meat for so long.
What they do is they focus on just the animal. The
killing. Yeah, but the cows die anyway.
Yeah.
So when I told this person that, by the way, the cow that you drank the milk from is probably dead now anyway. Well, not now, but it's going to be killed soon for its meat. Yeah, and if she had a son, he's probably dead anyway. So, but they don't like thinking about that. Obviously, out of sight, out of mind. Keep the blinders on.
Yeah.
It's easier.
And what about in India? You said.
India is the second highest exporter of beef, I think, in the world, and leather and stuff.
Way.
They kill the second most cows after Brazil.
It's insane, right?
Yeah. You look at all these cows roaming. When you go to India, you see all the cows roaming free. Yeah, they're the lucky ones that got away with it. But most cows are literally killed, and it's just insane. And the consumption of dairy in India is so high. They use milk for everything. They throw milk on murtis like it's nothing, isn't it? Milk is just milk. India love milk.
Why do you get such staunch anti-meat eating Hindus?
Yeah,
they're so against eating meat, but their diet is pretty much dairy.
Because religion, is religion, right? You're not taught in religion to not eat dairy, not drink dairy.
Feel free to speak your mind. You don't need to. You don't need to hold back. Yeah.
So, religious dogma is that you follow whatever is written, right? That's it, blindly. It's blind faith, isn't it? It's blind faith. You don't use your own brain. Come on, you have to read the scriptures or whatever they have, and you just read it and you say this is it. And all the Hindus I've argued against, including my own grandmother, including my mom, everyone, Krishna Bhagwan drank milk. Krishna Bhagwan drank milk. I'm like, Krishna Bhagwan drank milk however many years ago he lived, but he didn't have the cows hooked up to a machine and do what we're doing. Krishna Bhagwan, if people don't know Krishna, Hindu god of, one of the reincarnations of Vishnu, he used to be a cow herder. So he used to have, he used to always be seen with cows, and he's the one that kind of made cows our sacred. Kind of mother and sacred. Yeah, it became like a sin to harm a cow or anything like that. That's why in India, if you go, you'll see cows free. It's why they're trying to ban beef there.
But they all eat beef though.
Yeah, they all eat beef on the sly. They all drink cow's milk, and it's not all gotten by happy means. I still think you shouldn't be drinking milk anyway. I don't see the nutritional benefit.
I haven't had a glass of milk since my GoMad days.
That's good, man. You're not a baby GoMad. Oh my god. Will you drink? How much would you drink?
A gallon of milk a day. I make myself intolerant.
Yeah.
And by default, now I just complain that milk hurts my knees, so I don't eat it.
Interestingly, I gave up milk first in last year of uni, because I was having it every morning with my oats, and then I'd get to my placement, and I was on a surgical placement, and we'd be on the round, and I'd just hear my stomach making this crazy noise. I'm like, what is that?
Most people can't digest dairy. The amount of people who have milk or milk products and have bad stomachs is insane. But they just
carry on.
They
carry on. So that's dairy, but then
carry on what you were saying just there, but about the Indian thing.
Oh, about Hindus. Yeah. So they kind of follow their religion blindly, and they just say, oh, Krishna did it, so I'm going to do it. But if you talk to them and show them the videos, some of them will change their minds. Yeah. But the ones I've shown, it's like, oh, that's really sad, but I'm going to just carry on what I'm doing, because for them it's easier to carry on what they're doing than change. Especially like these, most people that are practicing Hindus now are quite older, much older and stuff, and they're not going to change their ways. I'm never going to convince my grandma to change her ways, and nothing I can do about that, really. I try what I can do. But why do Hindus keep drinking milk? Is because, one, they don't know about how cruel the industry is, and if you expose them to how cruel the industry is, they just deny it. I don't know. They're addicted to it as well. Milk and cheese and dairy is addictive. Just rely on it. Yeah, cheese is addictive, man. Lucky for me, I was never a big cheesy. People love cheese. Oh my god, can't live without cheese. The actual biggest sticking point for most vegetarians to going vegan is cheese. Not anything else, because you can get plant-based milk easily. Yeah. You can get ice creams. Oh my god, mate, ice creams now, perfect. Yeah, it's cheese, and it's the only thing that we haven't perfected. As vegans, we've got decent cheese, but it's not the same as all your different artisan cheeses. Yeah, but it's getting better every year. So maybe.
What about eggs then?
So the egg industry is also crazy cool. So the natural a hen will lay a few eggs a year. Yeah, but we've obviously genetically bred these hens to lay hundreds a year. Now, every time a hen lays an egg, it's a painful process. It's like giving birth, yeah? So the egg itself is just a period of the chicken. It's not it's not going to be fertilized or anything like that. It's just period. And in the wild, the chicken will actually consume it for energy if it's not going to do anything with it. But obviously in farms, they produce loads and loads, and we take the eggs away, right? And then, so that's inherently cruel anyway. The conditions of, firstly, caged hens, yeah, that's cruel anyway. You're keeping them in little cages. Then the fact that you're making them produce that many eggs is so physically taxing on them. It hurts, yeah. They feel pain. They're not like objects. They feel pain. Then once you've, you have to breed these chickens. You can't. They're not coming out of nowhere, right? So we're breeding chickens into existence, but we need only the female ones. We don't need male chickens. What's the point of that? Right? We only need the female ones because they lay eggs. What do you do with the male ones? You put them on a machine. You sex them. So you see like what's female, what's male. So you keep the female ones. You put them on one side. You keep the male ones. You put them on like this. The way I've seen it done, and it's apparently, the most humane way, is you put them on a conveyor belt and they all go down, cheaping away on a conveyor belt, and they fall into what's called a macerator. You know what that is? It like just grinds them up. They're 1 day, 2 day old chicks, and they just get ground up alive, and they die almost like, I say instantly, but within a few seconds. It's the most humane way to dispose of them.
Yeah. But
there's other ways of disposing of them too, which I've seen videos of, and they practice it in some farms in Europe, which is they put them in they just put all the chickens in bags and then put them into a big bin, put the lid over, and they suffocate to death. And eventually you hear the cheep, 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 and it stops, and it's just silence. And I've watched that video, and I was like, and there's a egg farmer talking about this as well, and he was telling them what he used to do, and it's just horrific, man. And you listen to all these stories, and you think, it's propaganda, it's only happening. Mate, like, how many people can be lying about this? Like, what benefit do I have to lie? Like, What benefit do people have to lie about this thing? You know, it's not really.
So with eggs, is it more the conditions that the problems, or is
it's the whole process, man? Like,
as in the process of everything you mentioned that happens around it.
Yeah, I've spoken to people that own chickens, like they have chickens in the garden, and they'll lay eggs. So
like organic chicken farms,
as in the whole organic thing is nonsense anyway, and the whole free range is definitely nonsense.
What about the whole like you just mentioned there,
chicken in the garden.
Someone down the road has a chicken down the garden.
Yeah.
They're providing eggs for the street.
I'd say if you're going to eat eggs because you absolutely have to, that is the only way to go about it. But I still don't think it's ethical.
Why?
Only because the chicken still has to produce that egg, and it's still going through pain, and me and most other vegans will agree that you're still profiting in some way. You're getting that taste pleasure of eating the egg off the back of that chicken feeling pain. And I don't want to feel good when something has had to feel that bad for me when I can avoid it. So if I can avoid eating that egg because I can make a nice tofu scramble, which is banging, by the way. Have you tried it yet?
No.
Yeah, some good tofu scrambles out there, which is like scrambled eggs. You can have it on toast. You can have it with, as part of full English, yeah. If you can do that and you don't need the egg, then why not? That's the ethical side of it. And then the health side, people talk about cholesterol and things like that.
Well, we
can go back and forth. There's some articles that say it does raise LDL cholesterol. Some articles say it doesn't. And I don't even know what to believe anymore. But I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I just avoid it anyway.
Yeah, so, I think you're coming from a point of view.
But if you have cardiovascular disease, you should avoid it. If you already have heart disease, you should definitely avoid the cholesterol in eggs, because you will raise total cholesterol. And that has been shown to worsen it. So,
let's tackle a few more before we move on.
Mm.
Did you come across any challenges as a vegan?
I think the common one is, when you've got people on transformation and they're gonna eat out because they haven't prepared anything. Let's say they just get caught out. So it's easy for someone to get like a bit of meat, a bit of veg, and they stay on track. But as a vegan, it's like, all right, what do they have? What option do they have that will fit my macros? Like often none. So I meal prepped everything throughout this entire thing. Obviously, there are times I went, I had a cheat meal, but that was because it was pre-planned and I knew I was going to have that cheat meal. Mainly because I got complacent and you put me back on track straight away. But that was the only challenge I would say for vegans would be the accessibility of macro-friendly foods. It's in certain places. I think I would have to just get, there's some places I would just have to get salad, and if they've got like beans and stuff, I can get that. But then I don't know what my macros are for that meal. But at least I know it's a bit low calorie, it's okay. So that would have been a potential challenge for me, but I just meal prepped everything.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
Let's come off the vegan topic now, because when we dropped your picture, all the emphasis was on the fact that you were vegan.
Yeah,
vegan power, vegan gains, vegan, all these, every hashtag you can think of was coming out.
Vegan muscle,
blaming everything on the fact that you're vegan. But we both know behind the scenes that there's a lot of hard work that's gone into your physique. And a lot of training. And a lot of brutally hard training. Over the last 8-10 years. So exactly, pretty much, and quite literally in some cases.
Injury-inducing training.
Let's talk about this though, because this is what people miss out on. We spent an hour talking about veganism, great. But let's also cover what's really built your physique.
Training, man.
We could probably argue that whether you're vegan, whether you're meat eating, the result would have probably been the same.
So the point was, the diet wasn't a difference. The diet was just to show that it can be done whilst being vegan. So it's not. So it's debunked the myth of vegans are weak and vegans can't build muscle. Vegans can't get shredded. That's what it's.
Or vegans lose all their muscle. Vegans lose all their gains. All that stuff. That's all debunked. We know it's essentially calories, essentially protein.
Exactly.
It's hitting those macros, hitting the micros, and if you can do all of that stuff, you're fine. But nothing happens without
training.
The foundation. Let's talk about the foundation then. What is what's built the foundation for you?
So that
it's a very broad question. But what is, if you have to look back and think, okay, I'm getting all these questions. How do I look like Minil? Okay, why don't you spend 5 years training your ass off? Taking yourself to a place most people don't take themselves to every single week, beat the logbook, progressive overload, get super strong, then diet down and you look like Minil. That's my answer to everyone.
Easy.
That's all you have to do.
All you have to do, mate.
Eat a surplus for 5 years, train your ass off, and then diet down, and then you'll look like Minil.
And the worst part is, I wish I hadn't, you always say, I wanted to try and keep my abs throughout. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had just stayed in the calorie surplus the entire time almost, because I could have I could have put on even more, I think, the way we trained, doesn't it? The training was the main thing. I think the first time I stepped foot in the gym was at QE when we were at school. I didn't know what I was doing, but then I watched you and I was like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. But I still didn't really follow what you did or anything like that. But you were building some muscle. I was getting nowhere. Then it got to Sham's first transformation. Do you remember he took a gap year and he got shredded? That's when I kind of went, because I was going gym with I think it was Abhinav in the first year of uni, and even then I wasn't doing much. I was kind of like plugging along. Diet was just rubbish.
Just telling everyone to go to gym, but not making any.
I was going once a week, if that. That's not training. I'll go gym once a week. I had it was nothing. I wasn't the iron junkie yet. Then I asked you and Sham, what does Sham do? And Sham told me, he stopped eating carbs. At that time we were on a low carb hype, isn't it?
That was our low carb phase.
Paleo was as well, and just training wise, 4 times a week consistently. Okay, I can do that. What training program did I start with? Do you remember? Do you know this?
No.
Modified German Volume Training by Charles Poliquin. That's the first program I hit, which was ridiculously hard work.
We'll do that one.
That was ridiculously hard work, and the gains started slowly coming because I was training like an animal. It was hard. This was 10 sets of 5 reps for most things. So it wasn't a standard 10 by 10 German volume training. It was 10 by 5 modified. But it was so hard. By the 5th, 6th set, you're struggling, and I was getting stronger, which was good, Then I think I asked Akat, because I think there was one summer I still remember. We were at someone's barbecue and there was junk food everywhere and I didn't eat it. And you looked at me and went, oh. And that's when I kind of heard a tone of respect in your voice for the first time. Because I avoided the junk food that day and I stuck to the veggies and the meat only. That's when we ate meat, right? When I ate meat. And then I asked you actually, when can I train with you? Because I wanted to see how it was like, what real training was like. We went to Genesis together and we did an upper body session. And I remember I couldn't even shrug 15 kilos. And you just kind of were like, come on, man. Just do it, man. Just do it. And then from then on, it was like I was bitten by the bug. And I think joining Genesis and training with you and Sham that summer was it for me. We did what program? West Side for Skinny Bastards by
Joe DeFranco. Wow, what program! But I don't even know if it was the program.
No, it was just the fact that it was a training. It was training. But we did progressive overload as well. We all kept logbooks. I remember we were trying to beat. We had indicator lifts. We were doing a power day. We were doing strength day and a hypertrophy kind of space days as well. But the power day, we were doing box jumps, and we were jumping onto
boxes with needles hanging out.
Nails hanging out of it.
Scariest thing.
It was
6
scary,
in the morning.
6 in the morning. I was jumping up to my nipple height, which is quite high for a small guy like me. Anyway, so we were training hard, and we were doing it at 6 in the morning, daily, like 4 times a week. We were training, weren't we? And we were training really early. Nutrition wise, I was staying on. That's when I got my Fitness Pal, making sure I was eating properly, calorie surplus, progressive overload. And when we trained, innit? Yeah. Before our main lifts, we would take ourselves to a place like the Void. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it was. Dave Tate.
Yeah, Dave Tate.
Called it the Void, where you just everything else. We train in hoodies as well. People train in vests and t-shirts. We train in layers. Yeah, so we'd have t-shirts on, 2 t-shirts and a hoodie on always, and we wouldn't disrobe. We would keep the layers on because the guys in the gym were huge. If you're the biggest guy in your gym, you need to change gyms, innit? Yeah, that's what they always say, right? Yeah. So we were training around huge guys, influenced by all this testosterone flying around, metal music playing in the back. Yeah, and we were lifting like our lives depended on it. Squatting heavy, deadlifting heavy. Form weren't that great, I admit. Nah. Yeah, but we didn't care. We were just lifting that weight. We thought, if we lift a big weight, we will get big, and it worked. And we consistently did that. It didn't matter what we ate. Like we were all eating meat at the time. But I obviously I can't test it now, but if I've seen vegans get strong, so like it was mainly the stimulus, training that consistently, progressive overload, taking yourself on those major lifts as well, your indicator lifts to a place where you've never been before, hoodie up, music blasting, and just lift. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite moments looking back? I've got a few.
All right, so definitely one of my I won't go to the powerlifting competition was obviously one, but in the gym when I first did the 180,
I remember that one.
I screamed at the end of it. It's on Instagram. Yeah. Performance horrendous, but I lifted 180 off the floor. I weighed about 60 kilos in that video. So that was the first time I'd hit triple body weight on a deadlift, which we told Bulldog about it after, and he was like, "Oh, that's quite. You should compete." And he told us to do about competition,
I remember.
Right? He told us about that. That's a good number. That squatting double my body weight as well was a moment. And then there's another moment where me and you were training, and we did legs together. You remember this one?
I was going to mention.
It was, you were going to mention this one.
It's the same one. But
So I, for some reason, it was a superset of back squats and front squats, but instead of doing front squats, we used a safety bar squat. Yeah. So we did a superset of 10 by 10 on back squats. I don't know what program I was running, but it was 10 by 10 on back squats, supersetted with 10 by 10 on safety bar squats. And there was 20 kilos on each side. It wasn't like some light stuff, so 60 kilos roughly each, and we were going back and forth just doing it. And I think on my final set, I just laid down on the floor like dead, not realizing I got to spot Akash for this next set, his last set. And I think I left him in the hole. So he went down, didn't come back up. And all I heard is, oi! So I ran over, picked the weight off his back. I was like, shit, sorry, mate.
That's the moment I had. That's my most fun moment of training with you.
You avoided injury there, though, so that was all right.
Yeah, there's been loads of those moments. Like, but it's always the moment just before and just after. Yeah. And the moment before where you're all getting like psyched up for each other, and the moment after where it's like jubilation, you got it somehow. Yeah,
so in that same gym when we did the competition that you convinced.
Yeah, I remember.
You always managed to convince me and Sham to do things like the competition, the Tough Mudder, we'll get to that. But then this competition was the powerlifting qualifying for the British. And me and Sham both researched the records. We're like, hey, by the way, the deadlift records are quite low in this. We can both get the records. So we ended up both coming away with a great British record in that federation, by the way, because there's so many federations and so many people set records. And there are people that obviously at the same weight as me that obviously deadlift more. But that day I got 190 at a weight of 58 kilos.
Yeah, nasty.
Which is 3.25 times body weight.
Nasty.
Yeah, that was a dirty day. And Sham got like 210.
Yeah, I remember when you pulled it up. I was so happy.
Yeah. You see in the video, you come up to me and you're so happy. And when I locked it out and dropped it, the first thing I did was I looked at Akash. I didn't look at anyone else. There's people in the front. I looked at Akash because he's got me there. Like you basically. You and Sham were the ones that we got each other there, but you and Sham got me there to lift that weight off the ground, it was a surreal feeling, man.
Really, really cool.
And I love that you were happy. Like, why would you be that happy for someone else? Most people are like, oh, he's done that, now I need to do. People get jealous, but you were just like genuinely happy for someone.
I was living vicariously through you guys on that day because I couldn't deadlift that day.
Yeah, you could deadlift.
I haven't deadlifted since. Brilliant. One thing that we've been asked quite a bit is what's been your lift progression over the years? Like how people are intrigued. The people who've asked this question I know them personally, and they've all got similar-ish builds to you, so they kind of want to know what numbers they need to be hitting to kind of look like you. So walk us through some of the numbers that you've done.
I'll talk about my all-time heaviest on the squat, bench, and deadlift. So these are your 3 principal indicator lifts that we go by. But then, obviously, now I don't do any of them anymore because of...
Go by what you do.
Oh, go by what I do?
Yeah, or what you think has built your physique.
It was difficult because the deadlift definitely did, isn't it? So my all-time deadlift was 190. All-time squat was 127.5. And I think I could have got 130. Pissed that I didn't do it. And then the all-time bench, I didn't get 100. I got 97.5. But I think now I'm going to try and work to that 100 just over time.
Injury dependent.
Yeah, injury dependent. So I had tricep tendonitis. I've had lower back problems. I've had a minor tear on my right hamstring. Paul's helped me sort that out a bit. And now I can at least do RDLs and stuff. So now my indicator lifts now would be Romanian deadlifts or rack deadlifts. So that I'm getting if I'm doing a rack deadlift, I'm getting near 120 for 6 to 8 reps. And if I'm doing an RDL, I'm getting 100 or 110.
Yeah, it's not probably not as heavy as
it's not as heavy because I don't want to emphasize the weight anymore. It's just about the form.
It's also because, injuries aside, it's also that you've just been training for so long that it's not always going to be about continuing to overload. And I'm assuming you can't risk that injury. I'm in the same boat as you. Too many low back injuries to push that lift.
Yeah, as soon as you get injured, you're back to square one almost. I'll go back to 60 kilos again. I have to work my way up again. So I would say, at this point, I'm going to go from now, while I'm not injured, and then obviously, Bulgarian split squats. Remember when we set a competition for each other, how strong we could get in that? So my all-time best is 35 kilos in each hand for 8 reps in each leg, which is
damn strong.
Yeah. So that's why my quads look like how they do in the thing, because that was all basically Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah. What about pressing?
Pressing, so low incline press is my indicator for that, and I'll press now. So I got up to 40s just. So the year after I went vegan, so I'd been vegan for a year.
Yeah, we did 40. You did it with me, right?
Yeah, I did it with you. Yeah, the 40 kilo in Genesis. Yeah,
we
for 4 reps.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And
40 for 4. What body weight?
64, 63, 63.
That's damn strong.
Yeah. But now obviously I've gone weights to come down. I'm getting 34 kilos up at least for 8 reps.
Yeah.
So that's not bad either.
No,
I've dropped a bit because of the weight being dropped, and also because I'm more mindful of my shoulders and my elbow. But I think once I start, progressively properly doing it again with food. So obviously I fell off the kind of training and food wagon the last couple of years when I started work, mainly for all sorts of reasons. But now obviously this transformation is put me so back on it. I think it'll just get better from now.
Let's talk about your work, because as a doctor, you often hear erratic shifts. You can never get a consistent sleep schedule. Potentially, it depends on your role.
I mean, you have your rota,
changing rotas all the time. Difficult to fit in meals. The usual sort of excuses that you hear.
I mean, it's valid for some people.
How are you balancing it?
It's valid for some people. Obviously, some doctors, they've got kids, they've got other things to worry about. They've got exams coming up. They've got courses. They've got papers they need to write. There's lots of things doctors do that are outside of just work. So that's why they may find it difficult. I've been quite lucky that obviously I don't have kids. I don't have all this other stuff. So for me, training is priority anyway. So I always used to go training after work. And obviously, I'd have my rota, so I know what I'm going to do that week and the week after. Obviously, it would change. But as long as I'm training 3 to 4 times a week, I aim for 4. If I get 3, then great, fine. If I get 4, then perfect. That's what I needed. And as long as I train those 4 times a week, and I can do 2 of them on the weekend if I'm not working. Let's say I'm doing just a Monday to Friday that on whatever rotation I'm on, then that's fine. Food-wise, I mean, even when I wasn't vegan, I was meal prepping anyway. So I got into that habit where on Sunday you'll meal prep for the next few days, and then if you get time during the week, you meal prep again for the next couple of days, and that's it. Stick to what you're going to eat. So meal prepping, that wasn't hard, especially when I ate meat, because it was just literally meat, veggies, rice, and potatoes, one of them, right? And it was bloody easy. And people used to always comment on my food every day, like, "Oh wow, what have you got?" It's the same thing every day, because I don't want decision fatigue. So it's sweet potato, broccoli, and some chicken every day, whatever. If I want to mix it up, it'd be rice. But then since going vegan, it became like mock meat, veg, rice, and now obviously I've varied it up with the pastas that we talked about before. Yeah. But meal prep is what's kept me consistent. So just planning is what works when you're a doctor. because
which is the same as every other profession.
It's the same as every other profession. So it's no different, man. It's like, you know, it's just your willpower. Like, are you gonna like when? I think this is where being vegan helps as well. Like when I'm at work, there's so many snacks around.
Yeah.
None of them are vegan friendly, so I can't eat them anyway. I've eliminated all that food group just by being vegan.
That's the whole case of one decision.
Yeah.
Takes out 1,000.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Like, it's like when people say, "I don't eat sugar. I just don't eat sugar."
Yeah.
So okay, well then you can't eat most of the things in the sandbox. If you're vegan, well, most convenience foods are out of question.
The amount of chocolates I see yammed away on the eaten by people on the wards is crazy. I mean, I just flat out say no, and if they ask me why, I'm like, let's go dairy, but usually it's like I don't eat chocolate because I only eat dark chocolate anyway now.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy to stay on track with your macros and your goals, you know. And I just feel good staying on track.
Do you find as a doctor it's your responsibility to look after yourself even more? Personally,
I think it is,
because there's a lot of doctors out there that you look at them and you think, how are you a doctor?
So personally, I think it's definitely important. And I think doctors are guilty of not looking after themselves purely because they're so stressed as well.
Yeah.
So you need to make more of a conscious effort to actually eat well, sleep well, drink, stay hydrated. Because it's busy, man. Like there's certain days where you're just on your feet the entire time. You don't get time to drink water. That's why I carry this bottle around with me. I take it wherever I go on the wards. I just have that with me. So at least I make time to drink water, but I'm making that conscious decision to do that. And obviously take time for your lunch. And I understand some days it might be that you can't, but now I think more people are prioritizing their well-being over it. With regards to the health thing, I think it's an older generation thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these old, I don't want to call people out, but like older GPs, they don't really care. Like nutrition, they weren't really taught it at uni either. We weren't really taught nutrition. There was a couple of lectures like, here are your vitamins, here are your minerals. Make sure that you get them, otherwise you're going to get kwashiorkor, which is a protein deficiency that no one gets. But it's like you learn about it because people in Africa get it, like in starvation where you might get it. But teach me about like what I should be eating on a daily basis to optimize my health. Teach me about macros properly. No one gets taught that stuff, so they don't know, innit? And you just eat whatever's convenient and whatever's easy. So I think, if you're a doctor and you're preaching health to people, your food is your medicine. So if you're eating well, you can avoid a lot of preventable diseases. That's why I think doctors should prioritize their own health, because they're preaching it to other people. You can't be telling a patient that they're obese and they're at risk of all these problems when your belt line is the same as theirs, your waistline's the same as theirs. You can't be telling them to cut down their carbs, cut down whatever advice you're giving them, wrong or not. You can't be telling them that if you yourself aren't practicing what you preach. It's just like personal training, man.
Yeah.
Like you guys are all of you are in wicked shape for a reason. Like people want a doctor or someone that looks the part, or not always. You want a doctor that actually knows their knowledge more than anything else, not just looks healthy. But I think, it does go in some way. Like it just affects your kind of perception of your doctor if he's very, very unhealthy looking. At least,
100%.
Yeah.
Why are you still motivated to train 10 years later?
Just this is addiction, isn't it? Like iron junkie, addicted to the iron, right? So man, like the feeling you get when you like lift weight, the pump that Arnold talks about. If anyone hasn't seen Generation Iron, the original movie that Arnold.
You mean Pumping Iron?
Pumping Iron. Sorry, Generation Iron is a new one.
Yeah.
Pumping Iron. Yeah.
Don't get that wrong.
No, I can't get that wrong. So Pumping Iron followed Arnold and like his friend Franco Columbu, who sadly passed away yesterday, isn't it? But followed their kind of journey and like the golden era of bodybuilding, and they talk about the pump, and that's like it's true when you get in the gym and you like you're pumping weights and you feel that it does release endorphins, doesn't it? Not because you look not just because you look good, but it's because you're lifting heavy weights, you're stimulating, like you're exercising. All this stuff releases endorphins. I think looking good is just a byproduct of it. Before, when we got into it, I think for most people it's about looking good.
It always starts with aesthetics, but if it was always about aesthetics, you'd be in shape year round.
Yeah.
But you still train when you're not maybe at your best shape.
No,
you just still train. This is what we do.
Yeah, we're getting this out calorie surplus, get a bit fluffy. We don't look good doing that, but like we need to, because our lifts need to go up, because we want to get stronger as well. And getting stronger, building more muscle and things like that. You're challenging yourself. All these little things to keep you in the gym, like especially challenging yourself. I can't imagine. Like whenever I get injured, I get so low. Like my mood just goes to the ground, because if I'm like, I can't train, I feel so like, what do I do? Obviously I can get another hobby, but
so what's really interesting is you were always flirting in that beach body zone.
Yeah.
You were stuck in the grey area for years. You were too scared to put on body fat to build a lot more muscle.
Yeah.
you're too scared to get too lean because you're obsessed with by being under 60 kilos.
I didn't want to lose weight.
And I was like, no, you're going to end up 56, 57. Yeah. You're like, are you sure? You're that classic guy.
You said 54 and it scared the crap out of me, frankly.
Sub 50.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
But why did it take you so long to finally peel down the layers and see what you got underneath? Because we started training roughly similar time.
Yeah.
But I peeled the layers down earlier just to see what was there, whereas you took ages.
I just felt like you had way more muscle. I felt like Sham had way more muscle because you guys, whilst you've had injuries, you've managed to kind of train around it and still maintain it. Whereas I kind of, once I got my lower back injury, I remember what happened. I just stopped. Like my back got a bit smaller. All these things. But main thing was, I think, like you said, wanting to stay beach kind of ready. You never know when I'm gonna have to have my abs out again, kind of thing. So I think what triggered it this time, though, was obviously seeing Sean's transformation a couple of years ago. That initial one, I was like,
2 years ago. Yeah,
right? True.
It's like, I don't think that was a trigger here.
So no, that was the initial one. Thinking, okay, Sean looks pretty good, man. So I might need to get Akash to be my coach.
But you still didn't do it.
Still didn't do it. So then I became vegan, and then I thought I can't do it on a vegan. Again, I believe the myth. I was like, I can't do it as a vegan. How am I going to manage the macros and all this? It's much easier if you're just eating meat and veg to get the carbs low. All this stuff. Again, this myth played around in my head. So I'm just being honest here. This is what I thought. Obviously now I know better. And then you know what it was? When Tom got shredded?
Yeah.
When Tom did it, Tom was a big boy of our group. And once he got shredded, I was like, mate, there's no way I'm having Tom have better abs than me. This is not happening.
I remember the morning, at his shoot, I was like, I didn't send a picture to anyone except for you.
Did you?
I was like, I took a picture of him and I just put it in the group and just left it there. I was like, I knew, me and Tom were smiling because we all knew you'd be stewing on that.
I saw that picture. I can't remember what I was doing at the time, but I saw that picture and straight I messaged him saying, what the F? And he'd been sending me pictures of his abs throughout the weeks anyway, as he was getting more and more shredded. Anyway,
terrible pictures, right? His pictures at home are terrible.
Oh yeah, he doesn't know how to take pictures, but that's fine.
But that threw me as well because I was like, I don't think he's going to come in shape. All this stuff. I mean, on the day, he turns out shredded. Not even like looking on the camera. I'm just looking at him thinking, damn, your pictures do no justice to you with how lean you are here.
Yeah.
I was Minil's going to love this.
Man, Minil hated it. And then I was like, man, I need to do this. So I think what happened was I came back from Philippines, and in Philippines I had some decent ab shots, like of me posing and stuff like that. But again, that's very good lighting. I will tell people. And
also, you always, to be fair to you, you always have some borderline abs. Even like in a bulking phase, your back is fat as hell.
Yeah.
You won't mind me saying that, right? Your back is fat,
true. My back was
but
fat.
You always have those borderline abs. You're really lucky like that, so you can get away with it.
I can get away with it, exactly. And because people aren't looking at my back, people are looking at the front, right? And in photos, you only see the front. But I had love handles, even in those pictures in Philippines.
No, you have back boobs.
Yeah, back boobs. And I hide it well by the walking the way.
You're really lucky. Like people like that. I'm someone who stores it more on my front than my back.
Yeah, same with Sean. Yeah.
But you're completely opposite. You're lucky like that. But that probably is why you never really wanted to flip the switch.
Because I always saw the abs. I was like, So I always saw abs. I was like, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to get shredded. I'm fine. But then, Tom's thing. But then also after I came back from Philippines, I was just eating, trying to gain the weight back because I lost so much out there trying to stay vegan. And then I just ate burgers and pizzas. And then me and you had a train and you kind of pinched my belly and went, whoa. And I went, whoa, what? And you're like, you got fat? And I was like, yeah. So that took some pictures. Again, I took these pictures after I'd been to the gym, so I looked a bit better and felt a bit better.
Where were we training?
At Graftism.
Okay, yeah.
Is that Graftism?
Oh, with the pull-up session when I was... Is it when you told me you did like 30 pull-ups or something like that?
Yeah, in the Philippines, yeah. And then I banged a few out that day, but not 30 because I gained some weight since I got back. Couldn't do 30
on that session,
because I was so light in the Philippines, right? And then gained a few kilos when I got back, and I just looked terrible. And then I think after seeing Tom's thing, I was like, okay, we need to sort something out before you go away to Thailand. I think you went away to Thailand, right?
Yeah.
So let's sort it out. What do I need to do? Just tell me and I'll do it. Yeah.
Amazing. And what have you... So you obviously got into a certain level of condition that takes a real grind. Like this, it's not... You didn't get into beach body condition. You got shredded.
Yeah.
What did you learn in the process?
Yeah, a lot. Not just about myself, but about not just about myself, but definitely about this whole process that you've been through twice, you nutter.
3 times now.
3rd time now. You're crazy. You like this. So you call it suffering, but then you don't like using that word because there are people genuinely suffering out there. Okay. But it is self-inflicted
It's
suffering.
self-induced suffering.
It's self-inflicted, self-induced torture. Into the sense that you're starving yourself. You're basically telling your body, you're not going to eat, but I'm going to ram you into the ground with how much activity I'm going to make you do. You're doing 10,000 to 15,000 to then 20,000 steps a day, whilst you're not eating anything, and you're sore from training as well. You know, and your muscles feel like they're going to peel off their body almost. It's horrible. So I taught I learned a lot about what bodybuilders go through essentially, and I'm a new level of respect for them because it's a very like selfish kind of sport. You're on your own doing it, but it's very, you know, it's difficult what they do, and they're doing it because they love it, right? So that new respect for them. But going on those walks in the morning definitely gave me time to think as well. So self-reflection, listening to your podcast as well, listening to other ones about like mindfulness and all this other stuff that I was doing just to keep myself occupied whilst walking, because you're walking so much, you're spending so much time alone. It kind of changes you as a person.
So besides what you're listening to, what did you learn about yourself? What were your biggest insights?
Difficult to say, but like I think about things that really matter. Like, you know, we all focus on like career and like things like that, but all that stuff is like secondary to kind of yourself, like looking after yourself and like eating right, making sure you're exercising and your own health and what makes you happy and things like that. So I'm still trying to find out exactly, you know, we've been talking about this outside of this podcast, but like what I want to accomplish out of life and what actually is driving me and what motivates me. So I think a lot of thinking about that has taught me a lot. I won't go into it on this in terms of, because it's a little bit personal. I'm still working out. But that's one thing definitely.
But diving into that, having that level of introspection is definitely something that comes with this process.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not only the alone time, but it's suddenly you're so focused on yourself for once in your life. You've got so many things to consider, like meal prep, cardio, steps, training, all this time alone. And you do get into an emotional state. Like I know for myself,
spiritual, man.
Like in the last 4 weeks of this sort of prep, it's very spiritual. It's very introspective, and it can get emotional. And you start questioning, like what you're doing in life, what matters to you, what's really essential. Like I was like a couple of weeks ago, I was in a state of like, you know, if I don't change something by the way I'm operating, I feel like I'm going to lose everything around me. Or I feel like I might not even be here to enjoy it in 5 years' time because I don't know, I might have worked myself into the ground. So I've had to make some serious choices and changes in the last few weeks that have been forced upon me through this process because it's given me a new level of insight. And every time I do it, I get a new level of insight that I find that you can't get that in any other way. And it's why I talk about the physical being a vehicle to the greater good in someone's life. Because it really gives you that time alone to introspect and make changes and for the better in your life. Because you start thinking, am I actually doing the right thing? Am I actually spending the time with people that I want to spend time with? Am I spending my time in my day wisely? Am I doing a lot of non-essential shit? Like all these questions start coming in mind because you're so low on energy. You're like, okay, I've got a limited amount of energy in the day. Who am I going to spend it with? What am I going to do with it?
100%.
And that's when you realize all the fluff and the bloat that you might carry in your life.
100%. So one thing that was huge for me is it's changed my entire kind of routine. I was a night owl. I used to stay up till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., right? And then I'd wake up for work and I'd be like groggy as hell. And if it was the weekend, I'd sleep until 1 p.m. Completely changed because I had to work, right? During this process, I had to work. So I remember speaking to Tom, I was like, Tom, what time do you wake up? He was like, oh yeah, like 4:30, 5. And I go to the gym before work. I was like, I can never do that. Spoke to you about it because you like get the cardio and get the steps. I was like, oh, I can't do that. You're like, do it. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll have to make some adjustments. And I did. I woke up around 4:45 in the morning or 5 in the morning. I'd go straight to the gym in Luton is where I was working most of the time. So I go straight to the gym. I train, get my workout done, the cardio done. I would have pre-made my meals and the shake, everything. So it's all prep. And then when I get home from work, my time is mine. I can study, I can read, I can do whatever I want, but I'm going to get to bed by like 9:30. And if I need to go for a walk, I can as well. So that routine got into it. And now I'm waking up every morning at like 5 and I'm sleeping every day at 10, which is much healthier, I think. I'm waking when the sun comes up. You know, I'm in natural light all day. I'm no longer like sitting there on my laptop till like 2 in the morning, which we know is bad for you. Like lack of sleep is bad for you. And, unnatural light all the time is bad for you. So that's one big thing that's come out of this. People tried doing this for years, man. My grandma, my mum, my dad, everyone tried changing my sleeping habits. Sonal, loads of people, Sophie, everyone was like, you need to change the way you sleep, because they were sleeping early and waking up early. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. But for this, I've done it. It's worked. So that's big. That's huge, I think.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's finish off with a few more rapid fire style questions that we've been asked here.
Yeah.
If you had a pet, would you make it vegan? Apparently, it's a serious debate in the office.
So this is a common debate amongst vegans. So I assume when she says a pet, would you make it vegan? If it's a hamster or something, then fine. Yeah, you can. If it's something like a dog and a cat. So cats are obligate carnivores. From what I've read, they need meat to live. They need meat to survive. They can't survive without meat. You can give them something called synthetic taurine, which some people put in supplemented cat food to make their cats vegan. I don't know the long-term benefits or health effects on it on cats. I would avoid it. So I would never get a cat as a pet. They're carnivores. Would I get a dog as a pet? So you can feed a dog a vegan diet, and it's been shown that they can thrive on it. Now, I don't know how good it is for their kind of overall development. Are dogs happy being vegan? How do you measure animals' happiness? All that stuff. So I personally would feel a bit uncomfortable making a dog eat what I'm having. But the the pet food industry is horrible, if not worse than the human food industry. It's horrible. Like their welfare standards are way lower. The food standards are lower. Everything. So if you want to keep a pet, then you kind of have to make peace with the fact that you might be contributing to that. So personally, I wouldn't even keep a pet anymore.
Really?
Yeah, man. I would love to have a dog, and I think I would have one.
You're one of the biggest dog lovers I know.
Mate, I'm lucky. My dad hates dogs, so we haven't got one. But I think if we got one, my brother would probably feed it whatever he wants to feed it, and I would just not be ignorant, but kind of make peace with it. And I would want to get as much vegan food as possible and try and buy ethically sourced food and stuff. But I don't think it would sit right with me, because I know I'm contributing to that industry. So most vegans don't even get pets because they just don't believe that you should have companion animals. They think, because a lot of these pets are bred like pugs and stuff like that. They should never exist, man. They're bad, they're unhealthy. They got all sorts of health issues. So pets is an interesting thing. I think it's down to the individual and how far they're willing to take their ethics on it. But yeah, personally, if I had a pet, I wouldn't make it vegan. A cat I would not make vegan, and a dog I probably wouldn't either.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is the story behind the Iron Junkie? And you mentioned it earlier a little bit, but what is the real story behind the Iron Junkie and the famous pose of yours?
Famous pose, I'm assuming.
Frank Zane.
Frank Zane / Z's pose, yeah. I think I didn't make that famous, but I'm glad people think it's mine.
It's probably because you took it about 20 locations in the Philippines.
I don't even know how that happened. I did it once, and then I thought, I'll just do it everywhere. And I kept giving Mehul the camera, and he kept getting pissed off at me, saying, I'm not taking any more pictures of you.
What's the Iron Junkie story?
The Iron Junkie, I think, so I first made Instagram...
Being a doctor, right? Or something like that?
No, it wasn't that. I made Instagram and Twitter principally to follow fitness accounts. And that was when we had just started training.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need something. I need a catchy name. Because everyone had these names on Instagram, like a handle, right? Or a Twitter. So I need something. I was like,
It's Twitter, though. It was
Twitter, or it was one of them. But I made it principally to follow people like Lane Norton, all these fitness people, at the start of the whole thing. And I was like, Iron Addict, addicted to the iron. Iron Junkie. I don't know why, it just came to my head. I'm addicted to training, the iron. Yeah. We were reading so much about all these articles by Dave Tate, talking about the iron. The iron never lies. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, it sounds good. I just went with it. It just went with it. And then you and Sharp really went with it. Just kept calling me the Iron Junkie every now and then. That was a joke, obviously. But it was just stuck. And then I
thought it was also to do with the fact that you wanted to say anonymous or something.
Yeah, that
was that as well, right?
There was
being a doctor, you didn't want to patient confidentiality.
That's true. There's an element of that where whenever I tweeted or put pictures on Instagram, I didn't want someone searching Minil Patel and being able to find me. So I just kept it as the Iron Junkie kind of thing. And then it became Dr. Iron Junkie because I didn't want to put my name on it. But now it's now we've matured. I don't tweet and Instagram stupid things like I used to. We've grown up since then. I was 18 or 19 when we made these things. So a lot's we've matured since then. We're 10 years on now. So now obviously my Facebook name is back to how it used to be.
It's still Jiva.
No, it's not anymore.
When did you change that?
The other day, I was just like...
the other day? Okay.
Yeah, I was
going to say, the last time I tagged you in something, it was Jiva.
Jiva. Yeah, now it's Patel. And then, I don't know, maybe Instagram and stuff, I might leave it as Iron Junkie because it's just there now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It handles that. I can
The Iron Junkie.
Yeah.
What is next for the Iron Junkie?
Oh wait, the famous pose is Frank Zane.
Yeah.
Covered that.
We covered that.
That's what it is. What's next in terms of training?
Go ahead, anything.
So I think I'm starting this job doing anatomy demonstrating at King's College London. So I'll be teaching anatomy or helping teach anatomy at the dissection rooms. So it's a new experience for me because I've just been working like obviously I took a year out to do like locuming and things like that. So I was out of actual training job. So doctors, when they finish uni, they do their foundation years 1 and 2, and then a lot of them go into training or people take a year out. So I'm taking another year out this time to teach, which is going to be a nice experience. I think getting some teaching experience is always good in any field, because you want to be a good teacher, give back to the uni as well. It looks good on the CV. That's why most people do it. That was my initial reason for doing it. But then I was like, you know what, actually, it'd be a good experience. And then also with that, I'll do like a postgrad certificate in clinical education. So that'd be nice. And then beyond that, what I'm going to do career-wise, I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about it. The other thing, what next, I think, is by training, isn't it? So we need to start getting some weight back on.
What's your goal? Is your goal to stay this lean?
Nah.
Or you want to build some...
I want to
build up some now?
I want to build up again. And getting this lean...
Because you're sitting in front of me, vascular as hell.
Yeah. I think getting this lean taught me that I can get this lean. So I'm not afraid of getting this lean again. And I know what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it again. So I think, which is weird, but like you, it's weird. We're weird. But I want to put on some more size if I can. Yeah.
I think you can. Yeah, of course.
A bit more size, just progressive overload, eat more. And now I know what to eat as well. So I think armed with that, knowing what to eat, how to train properly, thanks to you, just get bigger and then maybe see how I'm looking in a year's time and maybe compete.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, everyone said that. Everyone's going to compete this time. And I kept saying, nah, I'm not big enough. But everyone said, yeah, you should compete. And one of my friends just did a show as well in Birmingham.
Yeah.
He came second, I think. He did pretty well.
Brilliant. Any parting words?
Parting words. What I would say is, definitely doing these kind of transformations is bigger than the actual physical side of things. You learn a lot about yourself. It really challenges who you are as a person, and you end up changing a lot about you. It's also made me, for some reason, I've ended up looking a lot more into nutrition as well with this thing, especially because of the veganism thing. But then that's now made me want to eat healthier. So I actually look forward to all my meals are healthy meals. Yeah. Some people feel like, I'm dieting. But nah, if you make it your day to day, it becomes your routine. And so that's another good thing that's come out of it. I mean, I enjoy my veggies and fruits so much now, which before I was guilty of not having all the time. I'd skip it and just have a shake or something. And I would say, for those of you who are considering going vegan, definitely give it a go. You have to research it because you can, people talk about these deficiencies. You'll get articles in the papers every day now because of the animal agriculture industry is dying. So they want to try and boost up their numbers by scaring everyone into not going vegan. But the danger is obviously because a lot more people are going vegan, they eat a lot more vegan junk food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're seeing a rise in all these, the fastest growing market right now is the vegan junk food and takeaway market.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Imagine,
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the health.
There's going to be an equivalent to like McDonald's coming up soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
There
Well,
already.
Lewis Hamilton's releasing his chain of fast food.
Yeah.
He said it's healthier. And this is where the whole whole food plant-based versus vegan thing comes in. So veganism is an ethical thing. Whole food plant-based diet is a diet. Yeah. So they're two separate things. Veganism is all about everything. So leather, everything, all animal products. Plant-based diet is just about what you eat and what you put in your mouth. And those people will eat very little junk food. Yeah. So I'm between I'm vegan in my morals, but in my diet, I'm between the two. So I'll have junk food every now and then, of course. You're human. You're human. You want to enjoy yourself, isn't it? But the majority of your diet should come from whole food plant-based sources, like beans, chickpeas, lentils, legumes, nuts, seeds, all that stuff, veggies, fruits. And you can get plenty of that, and it's good for you. So I think, so people who are considering going vegan, research the diet well, know what you're going to eat, and try. I would say if you're the kind of person that finds things difficult, transition into it. But I went cold turkey, and it can be done, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fascinating discussion today with Dr. Minil Patel. If you enjoyed today's episode, with Minil, and you know other family and friends who would enjoy it, please share it with them. For more information, please visit www.rntfitness.com or follow us on Instagram at rnt_fitness. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for being here today on this episode of RNT Fitness Radio. I'd love for you to do a quick little favor for us. Please head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, and share it with your family and friends. If you're interested in learning more about how to transform your body and positively change your life, go to www.rntfitness.com and explore all our free content on offer. Thank you.